Well, hello there and welcome. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you, right here on EWTN Radio. I am Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani and the show team. And yes, as the show theme says, what everybody is talking about. And unfortunately, in some homes, on some occasions, people just aren't talking because there's tension in the homes. And we want to try and take a look at that today, Debbie. We want peace in our homes. And if there happens to be tension in certain people's homes, maybe we can talk through a little bit about how to resolve that.
Absolutely. We really do want that peace and security in the home. And a lot of times, let's face it, folks, there's a lot of tension or that underlying tension that just kind of, it's like it exists. You just can feel it, right? But nobody talks about it. You just kind of ignore it and get on with your day. But there is that tension. And that's not what our home should be. Our home should be a safe haven for us to really be and to be the best Christians we can be. It's the domestic, our families are the domestic church, okay? So that is important that our homes reflect that. But yet there's tension. So if there's tension in your home, please call in and share with us, and maybe we can get to the root causes of that. If you've gotten past that and you brought peace back into the home, share with us that as well. We need to learn and grow together. If you want to ask some questions about that and maybe try to figure out maybe that's where your anxiety comes from, your fears come from, it could come from tension in the home. Let's talk about it. Here is the number, 833-288-3986. And I promised you that Jerry would be back, and he's back. So you can all be happy now.
Here I am. I wasn't gone because there was any tension yesterday. I just had other things to do. And Debbie and you, the show team, and the Take Two family did a great job. I actually caught the last few minutes of the show, Monday Miracles. And so, yeah, today it is Tuesday, moving toward the end of another month already. And we are talking about tension in the home versus peace in the home. If you have ever lived under the same roof with one person or more than one other person, you know what tension in the home is, because what's right. The old saying, Debbie? You get two or more people under the same roof. There are going to be disagreements. There's going to be tension, issues, things like that. So you can call in. We don't need all of the gory details, but just maybe how you work through that. Maybe some beautiful, peaceful resolutions and deepened relationships came about because of it. 833-288-3986. And obviously, this can include tension between spouses, unfortunately, between parents and children, between siblings, between maybe you have extended family living with you for a certain period of time. And
that can cause tension.
That can cause tension. So not if, but when it happens, how do you normally resolve it? You're going to be teaching a lot of other people with your experience today. 833-288-3986.
Maybe someone in your home struggles with an addiction, alcoholism. That'll bring a lot of tension into the home. And let's talk about it. We really need to hear from you. And maybe you want to make or get some good tips and principles on an effective marriage to help with that tension, right? Well, we have a webinar coming up this Thursday, March 31st. It's plenty of time for you to still register. It's 5 principles of an effective marriage. It's headed by our wonderful coach, Lisa Jones. She's fabulous at it, has way over 10 years in marriage ministry with her husband, Clay. And Lisa will provide the 5 principles of an effective marriage. If you want to register for that Zoom webinar, I'll be on it as well, Jerry. And so will our lead coach, Felicity, will be there as well. It's going to be great. It's really a fun format and very easy, and we learn a lot. Just go to standtalltoday.com. standtalltoday.com. And it's this Thursday in the evening. So I'm excited about providing these opportunities for people just to increase their, to have their home life be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Any tools that we can use. And dear Take Two family, if you have built up a toolbox of how to move beyond those tense moments within your home, within your family, within your relationships, share them with us here today on this program. You ought to know by now, if you've been listening for any length of time, we don't just touch on the real nice, soft, cushy, touchy-feely topics and sugarcoat everything. Right. What we want to do, as Debbie always says, we want to take a fresh look at life. How do you say it, Debbie? A fresh look at life.
Fresh look. walk away a little bit changed, a little bit closer to God. But we want the good, the bad, and the ugly, Jerry. Mm-hmm. We want everything.
All of that goes into the mix, and hopefully something beautiful comes out of it. So what is your take on tension in the home? Maybe you just generally have peace in your home and you want to share, maybe you've got some things, some exercises, some strategies, some practices that you and your spouse, your kids, your coworkers could be talking about, maybe tension in the workplace as well. 833-288-3986. You can email take2 at EWTN.com. Post on the show website, take2show.com. If you are watching the video stream of Facebook or YouTube, hello to you there. You can post your comments there, and Jeff Burson will get those over to us. And you can also text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response. Put in your first name and your comment, and that'll get to us as well. There might be a small data rate depending on your plan.
We need to hear from you, so share with us, like Jerry said, those great tips about keeping peace in your home. Or if you do have that tension, let's talk about it. We want you to get rid of it, especially during this Lenten season. You need to really work hard to purge all those things that keep us distracted and away from God. We need to clear those channels, right? And we need to have a great focus on God, especially during the Lenten season. So let's talk about it. But we're noticing we're getting a lot of first-time callers. That is wonderful. You guys get it. We are a live call-in show, a very safe platform for you to call in and talk about the things of the day and what are really relevant to all of us. So please do so. You do not have to be Catholic to call in. I say this each and every time we do the broadcast, Jerry, because we have brand new listeners every single time, and that's wonderful. Call us. Do you have tension in the home or peace in the home, or a little bit of both? We want to hear from you at 1-833-288-3986.
Yeah, and there may be some parents listening right now, and you see tension kind of festering between a couple of your kids, between themselves as siblings, and you're kind of scratching your head. You've done all that you can, wondering what you can do. Well, maybe there are some other listeners who can provide some good advice for you on that, or maybe you actually have cracked that code and figured out how to restore that peace that you so dearly want for your kids in the home. Anything about peace, tension in the home, 833-288-3986.
Are you ready to spread your wings? Wings is the weekly newsletter that's packed with exclusive news, program information, features, and updates of all that's going on at the Global Catholic Network. To sign up, go to EWTN.com, click subscribe, enter your name and email address, and you'll start getting your wings every week. Get your wings today. It's the weekly newsletter from EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
One time somebody said to me, "Why don't you air these people?" And I said, "No, because I don't think they're Catholic." He says, "By what right do you have to say that?" I said, "I own the network."
Mother Angelica Live Classics. Tonight, 8 Eastern on EWTN Television and Radio.
Have you had your free consultation yet with one of our certified life coaches? Schedule one now at standtalltoday.com. Life coaches are trained, caring people who walk side by side with you as you seek to maximize your God-given potential and live your life's purpose with passion. And there's no better place to get started than with a free consultation at standtalltoday.com. That's standtalltoday.com, where you can start to unlock your incredible future. We sincerely thank you for listening and watching Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. If you're watching the social media streams, I'm Jerry Usher with Debbie Georgiani and the show team. Ace McKay, our producer, running the controls. Jeff Burson on social media, and Matt Gabensky screening your calls about tension versus peace in the home at 833-288-3986. We got an open phone line, and we would love to have you join us with your wisdom and lived experiences on this topic. Right before we go to the phones, I wanted to mention a new book. It's been out for a little while now, but it's still relatively new, from EWTN Publishing. You Shall Stand Firm, Preserving the Faith in an Age of Apostasy, by Father William Casey. He provides authentic answers to tough questions on things like marriage and sexuality based on church teaching. He reveals the truth about critical race theory and its dark objective. He offers genuine solutions to the church's moral crises and vocation shortage, and also exposes the horrors of communism, the ideology that is visibly engulfing the West. This must-read book is a clarion call to Catholics to begin to truly understand and live the faith, to speak the truth, and to share it. It's You Shall Stand Firm, Preserving the Faith in an Age of Apostasy by Father William Casey, available now at EWTNRC.com, where you get free standard shipping for online orders of $75 or more in the continental United States. Just use code FREE when you check out.
Nice. Okay, before we get to Emily, there is an open phone line, so if you'd like to call in. Maybe you grew up in a tension-filled home. I did. I grew up where there was a lot of tension in the home. You could just feel it, and it was always there. As a matter of fact, I grew up, and I believe my brother has it as well. We have like a real startle response, and it's from a lot of the tension, we believe, or I believe it's from growing up that way. Did you grow up in a tension atmosphere? If you did, maybe you could share with us the effects. I think I'm sort of okay, maybe a little messed up from it. I don't know, but I'm a work in progress. But let's talk about it. We really want to hear from you. If you feel that growing up in a tension home was a negative thing, let's talk about it, because we want homes starting today, Jerry, today, being peace-filled, joy-filled, okay, fun and safe. We don't want homes filled with tension, and we know that our Lord doesn't want that as well. So let's hear what Emily has to say. First-time caller, Syracuse, New York is where she lives, and she's listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Emily. Thanks for being a first-time caller, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. So I grew up in a tension-filled home, but one thing that we always had was I lived with my grandparents and my mom, and we always had like a beautiful extended family. So I carried that tradition on and lived with my mother and my stepfather, and was recently remarried, and also had a teenage son at the time. And there was just a lot of changes and a lot of chaos and coming of going of a lot of adults in our home. So my cousin mentioned to me, perhaps I should do an enthronement to the Sacred Heart. And we did that. We had a lovely priest come into our home. We did the enthronement. I took down my son's teenage picture from the mantle, and we hung up the picture of the Sacred Heart and of Jesus in the Sacred Heart. And since that time, I think there's been so many blessings as a result, and just a reordered home in a lot of ways, and a lot calmer than it was certainly during those teenage years with my son. And I just think that there was just so many blessings that came with that, and just reordering our home. We're still not perfect. We're a work in progress, but so much more peace is involved in our home as a result.
Beautiful. Yeah, you've said so many beautiful things there, Emily, and thank you for being a first-time caller to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We appreciate that. And just what really just totally jumped out at me and into my heart was the enthronement of the Sacred Heart. When you mentioned that, Jesus Christ, we know, one of his titles is Prince of Peace. Mm-hmm. Prince of Peace, not Prince of Chaos, not Prince of Tension. Now, does that mean that if we have, the enthronement of the Sacred Heart done in our home, there's never going to be any disagreements or tension or anything? No, but I think having that those graces that come from that are going to be at work at all times. And I really believe, Debbie, minimizing those difficulties that we might otherwise face, not just the enthronement of the Sacred Heart, but if you have holy water fonts and other statues and religious things, and your lives are consecrated to Jesus through Mary and consecrated to St. Joseph, the more of these things that we can add, I think it's just going to be natural that there's going to be fewer and fewer moments of tension in a home.
I absolutely agree. And I loved, Emily, how you said it was reordered. It came back into a sense of order. I love that, because you're spot on. When we bring God into the mix, when we bring God into the middle of our relationships, right, there is a sense of order. There's a sense, chaos is not from God. That's why when all these things were taking place in the world, of all these chaotic things of, people doing all sorts of things all over the country, looting and robbing and doing all sorts of stuff, that's chaos. That is not order, and that's not of God when it's like that. So when you put things back in order, people function well, and they can really blossom, and that's important. And I agree with you, Jerry. When you have holy water fonts and crucifixes and the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary and the Divine Mercy image, and it's very difficult to get mad at people in your home when just over their shoulder there's a crucifix, or there's an icon, or there's holy water sitting on the table, or a holy water font, or something of that nature. It's very difficult. Now, can you still do it? Absolutely, because anger and emotions, they take hold. But when you surround yourself with images that reflect God, that speak a truth of God, you live out your best life, and you behave better. Emily, can you speak to that? Because I think what you said is powerful, and I think more homes should be consecrated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. The biggest thing that happened was, they ask you to hang a picture of the Sacred Heart of Jesus at a predominant place in your home. And, I took down my only son's picture and hung it in a different place, but put the Sacred Heart right above our fireplace mantle. And, that's in the main living area. And for me, it just helped us so much, because, even if I was watching something on the television that I shouldn't be watching, or, all of a sudden now I was, doing that in front of Jesus' face. And I definitely had like a twinge of guilt, or a more consciousness of everything, that was happening in the home, I think. His presence really is in our home. And I think it's just a reminder, for me on a daily basis, but I think it is just His grace is poured down through us through the enthronement, and there's still so many blessings. My son talked about it for a long time and even thanked us for doing it. I think it made an impact on him as well, and yeah, so it's been a blessing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the analogy for me, Emily and Debbie, is like when you're driving your car. If you have a Catholic radio bumper sticker, or a Sacred Heart of Jesus, or a Immaculate Heart of Mary bumper sticker on your car, you're sort of conscious of driving more legally, of course, but also in a more friendly way, and not being in any way rude. It kind of cuts down on those temptations maybe to drive a little bit selfishly at times. So. Yeah, Jesus is watching us, everything that we do. He is not maybe personally visible to us, but when we have these reminders, I think it can really change. It can be a real game changer for us, how we live our lives.
Absolutely. Well, Ace, our producer, just typed over Emily and Jerry. He said, what we surround ourselves with is what feeds us, good and bad. So true. It's very, very true, because we take this all in through our senses. A lot of us are visual, and we take it all in and we absorb it. See, that's the thing that people forget, is they think, oh, well, if there's tension in the home, you'll get over it. Or if I say I'm sorry, oh, you'll get over it. You'll forget about it. That's not true. We absorb things, and we take it with us. And I remember this real quickly, Emily, before we let you go. And Jerry, I've said this before, Dr. Phil on TV, he said one time, and it stuck with me. He said, when you when you do something negative or you hurt somebody else with your words, it takes 1,000 attaboys or attagirls to make up for that one, horrible exchange, that horrible comment. Isn't that interesting? 1,000. And I'm thinking, wow, how quickly we, especially with our loved ones, how we can just, snap off and say something and just, go at them, right? And when we're thinking, oh, well, that's my husband or that's my son or that's my child, they'll get over it. But they really don't. It takes 1,000 attaboys or attagirls to make up for it. Have you ever heard that, Emily? I'm just curious.
Yeah, not 1,000, but certainly I've heard way more than the negatives. We hear the negatives so much more intently than we do the positives. So
yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's important. My husband's from Syracuse, Emily. He talks about the stories all the time of the beautiful farmhouse that they grew up with, all the acreage and going tobogganing and sleighing and skiing and all sorts of stuff. So you live in beautiful country.
Yeah, we actually have snow here today.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
We had a snow day on Monday. So there's lots of sledding and skiing to be had here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Emily, for the call. We so appreciate you joining us and listening to the program. God bless you.
Thank you. You too. God bless you.
Right.
Call us again, Emily. Thank you. What do you think about that? How we can just kind of snap at our relatives just in hopes that they're not being affected, but they really are.
Well, yeah. Well, what do they say? You only hurt the ones you love, And it is. It's so easy to do that. And I think maybe, just maybe, there is an underlying thought, subconscious thought in our minds, Debbie, where we think, well, we'll make up. Of course we'll make up. We always make up. And hopefully people always do make up. And do not stay, irritated at each other. That tension does not remain. But that's definitely no reason. Actually, it's more reason than ever not to try and go down that path with someone that we love because we love them for that very reason. I think.
Right. Well, you'll have to direct where we go next because Emily was talking about she has a snowstorm, snow in Syracuse. We're having a thunderstorm here in Arizona, and one of my computers just went out. So I'm so glad I'm still connected to EWTN. But it's very odd in Arizona. So when it happens, it's like the Wizard of Oz, folks. It's like things fly all over the place, and it's just really crazy.
It's, a lot of crazy things going on right now. Well, where we go next is we're looking for some social media comments. If you would like to weigh in on this conversation about tension versus peace in your home, which is more prevalent, would you say, in your home? And if it happens to be the former, if it happens to be tension, and there's a lot of it there, don't feel, you might feel a little bit uncomfortable calling, but what we want to do is maybe just try and have a brief conversation. Maybe you can come away with some ideas, some tools, some resources to help change that and have there be more peace within your home. It could be any kind of tension between husband and wife, parent and child, could be siblings, could be extended family. Maybe it's in the workplace where you've just got a tense relationship and you just don't know how to deal with that. 833-288-3986 is the number we need you to call right now.
I want to ask this question of our Take Two family, and I was fully transparent. I grew up in a very tension-filled home, and very much so. I actually couldn't wait to turn 18 so I could maybe leave the tension-filled home. But I will tell you that I slept a lot. I slept to try and get away from the tension. So I slept a lot. Did anyone else do that to try and just kind of get some peace? And yet I really wasn't at peace because down deep, I guess, subconsciously, I just knew I was going to wake up to tension or there was going to be tension there. Did anyone else do that? I don't know. Did you have any tension growing up in your home?
Yeah. Yes, indeed, Miss Debbie. Yes, there was a lot of tension in our home. Mm-hmm. I've shared before on this program about my imperfect relationship with my beloved mother. God rest her soul. I'm sure she's enjoying her reward right now. She had the challenge of raising 5 kids by herself, and she had a bit of a temper, and so you kind of never knew. when that temper might be
Blow.
ignited. Yeah, it might blow. And so, indeed, it would, And so, in a way, we kind of, had to walk around sometimes on eggshells, and there were those tense moments in the house, and then of course there were 5 of us, so it didn't matter which child was, kind of the target of the tension between the mom and the child. It sort of affected all of us. Yeah, so I think what I did is I just got out of the house. There were woods and trees everywhere, and I went out peeling cascara bark and building tree forts and catching frogs and stuff like that. Things that
so you got away from,
kids don't do any of anymore today because they have their gadgets.
Right. Which is kind of, not good, because if they're gaming, if they're playing the games, right, they can still hear stuff that's going on in the home, and still, if there's any type of tension or fighting and stuff like that. It's interesting, interesting dynamics. We're talking about it. We're being very open and honest. We'd like you to do that as well. You don't have to out your family or your parents or anything, or even your situation. We just want some helpful hints, some great tools, some wonderful principles to live by, because we want to be the best Christians we can possibly be. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Peace or tension in your home? That's the topic today. Please call us.
He is honored by the Church as a saint with the title of the Seraphic Doctor.
Matthew Bunson and the Doctors of the Church.
One of the greatest theologians and Franciscan mystics in church history, Bonaventure also wrote a biography of St. Francis that was commissioned by the Franciscans themselves. It took a saint and true mystic to understand a true saint and mystic. He died in 1274.
For more about the Doctors of the Church, visit doctorsofthechurch.com.
You can be a part of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Text EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response, then text us with your first name and question. It's that easy. Message and data rates may apply.
Hello, this is Janet Morana of Priests for Life with Pro-Life Update. In Matthew's Gospel, we read that when Jesus died, there was an earthquake. In the Old Testament scriptures, the earthquake was one of the signs of the day of the Lord, when God's power and glory and presence would be manifest in human history. This is what happened at the death of Christ, because at that moment, death itself was done away with. The Lord went among the dead to rescue them and to open for them and for us the kingdom of life. Things change at that point for human history and the destiny of the human family. And it is the foundation of who we are as a pro-life people. Our stand against abortion is not just political. It is rooted in the death and resurrection of Christ. This is Janet Morana on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. You don't have to be a woman to enjoy Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Well, thank you so much for spending a portion of your day with us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. I'm Jerry Usher, along with Debbie Georgiani and our affiliates. We cannot do this show without you. We are so grateful for you airing the program, which replays on many stations. It airs at noon Eastern Time live at this time right now, and then at midnight Eastern, a replay on many of these same EWTN stations. So thank you so very, very much to the show affiliates for carrying the program. Today, we're just kind of examining a reality that is in really all of our homes at one time or another. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. Debbie doesn't like it. You probably don't like it. But that is when tension kind of creeps in for whatever reason. Something is said, something is done, something is not done. It could be any number of reasons why tense moments enter into a home. But Debbie, we want to turn that around and hopefully have a conversation about how to not only restore but maintain peace in the home.
Yeah, how do we bring fun into our homes? How do you guys have some helpful, tips and pointers on how to just make your home just come alive? You want that home to be, well, actually, when my kids were growing up, our home was the home where everybody came, the whole neighborhood ended up at our home. And that was That was loud. That was loud. And the older I get, I like peace and quiet. Does anyone else like peace and quiet in their homes? I love when it's super quiet. I just think it's so much fun. It just feels really peaceful. How about that? Let's talk about all angles. That's what we like to do. We like to look at everything from different angles. We take a quarter turn and then another quarter turn, and we really try to explore things. And we, like Jerry said, we walk away a little bit changed, hopefully a little bit closer to God. But the only way we do that is with your help. So you must call in. Please don't pass us by. Don't think somebody else is going to make the call for you. We need you. So dial this number, 833-288-3986. And Jerry, I just received a text message real quickly. They said, could you please tell us where the Effective Marriage webinar is? And it's on Zoom, folks. It's this Thursday night. And you can register at standtalltoday.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, we're going to get to Marie. Let me remind you of that phone number again. It's 833-288-3986. Maybe, maybe as Debbie was saying, we can head tension off at the pass by creating a loving, warm, understanding, even tolerant environment in our home, not tolerant of sin or anything like that, but just tolerant of one another's differences, because sometimes that's the cause of tension in our homes and our relationships. 833-288-3986. And we will go to Marie in Woodland Park, Colorado, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hello, Marie. Welcome.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I felt very compelled to call. I listen to all the time. I love your topics. I love you both.
Oh,
and what I wanted to share with, you're welcome, is when my children were younger, there was some problems between my husband and I, and it got a little ugly from time to time. And what I did, which is kind of unusual for a mom with young children, is I spent more time at church, which I know some of the moms kind of looked askew at me. But I was blessed to have a Franciscan friary in my neighborhood, and they have the Blessed Sacrament exposed 24 hours a day. And I picked a holy hour, which 10 p.m. at night, so that it wouldn't interfere with the family. And I was faithful to my holy hour for 20 years until we moved to Colorado. So I was forced to, of course, give it up there. Mm-hmm. And I also did First Friday devotions. They would have a procession with the Blessed, with a pilgrim statue of the Blessed Mother, and they would.
Oh, did we lose you, Marie? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh,
no,
starting.
I'm here.
Okay, rewind about 10 seconds, Marie. You just clipped for about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. They had a pilgrim statue of the Blessed Mother. They would process around the chapel.
Nice. Yeah. Wow.
That's
so did it help
marriage.
to heal? It did. Okay. That's what.
Yes,
amazing.
It did. And I think it brought peace to our house. And, to this day, I believe that not only am I benefiting from it, but my husband and my adult children.
That's amazing. The power of adoration. I so agree with you, Marie. And first of all, thank you so much for the kind words. We love you back. Thank you so very much. You have a great name. Okay, you're living up to your beautiful name, which is wonderful. But Marie, here's the wonderful thing about adoration. They have found that when you said your church has, I think you said perpetual adoration. It had 24-hour adoration. When there's 24-hour adoration at parishes, they have found that people's spirituality is deepened. Their ministry, they get more involved in ministry. There's more daily mass goers. There's more participation in activities that kind of foster that Christian life. There's more fellowship. There's more community. It's just a beautiful. The effects of perpetual adoration are amazing. So it doesn't shock me at all that you benefited from it and you brought it right back into your home, and it healed some of those little obstacles that you were faced with. I think it's fantastic. What a great recipe for success. What do you think, Jer?
No, I agree completely. I'm thinking of, how a lot of, married couples will seek professional help, and that could be a good thing, marriage counseling and so forth. But the principle behind that is to bring in an objective third party, if you will, who can hear both of the parties who are having the tense tension in the relationship. Well, why not bring in the ultimate third party? And that is, go to the source of grace, the source of healing of marriages, the source of healing of minds and memories and hearts and souls. And that would be Jesus Christ. Marie, beautiful, brilliant idea to do that. And you threw in that sacrificial element. You said you went at 10 p.m. in the evening so that it didn't disrupt any of the goings on around the home. And let's face it, going out at 10 o'clock at night to do something like that does take an element of sacrifice for us. And, you let the Holy Spirit do the heavy lifting, which is something we all really need to do, is invite the Holy Spirit into these situations and just kind of, in a sense, take a step back and watch what the Holy Spirit's going to do.
Well, it changes your heart. I think that's what I experience the most is when you go before the Blessed Sacrament, unless you're really going to fight it, the Lord will change your heart.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we totally agree. Marie, you are awesome. And then Jerry just wrote over, too, that also perpetual adoration brings more vocations, and that's very, very important. We need solid vocations. Marie, like I said, recipe for spiritual success. You're awesome. Thank you so much you said you felt compelled to call in. Well, we believe that was the Holy Spirit, so thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. God bless.
Bless you, Marie. All right, that line is open that Marie was on right there. You're going to get right through to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie when you call 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. We're looking at the very real and sometimes inevitable issue of tension in the homes, in the workplace, in our families, in our relationships. But we don't want to stay in those places, don't want to be stuck in that tension. We want to have our relationships, our own lives, our families flourish, our homes flourish, and be homes of love and peace and unity and harmony. How have you found a way to do that? Or are you in the middle of trying to figure that out right now? 833-288-3986.
I just wanted to share something real quickly. I remember another show I watched years ago. Oprah Winfrey was talking about her dear friend Maya Angelou, who died. She died. She was an American poet and civil rights activist. Did I say her name right? Angelou? I think it is Angelou. I believe so.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, she died in 2014. But Maya Angelou used to say to Oprah, they were very good friends. And Oprah one time went over to her home and she sat down and she just started complaining about things. And she started getting, her voice was emotional. And I'm sure she said maybe some negative comments. And Maya said, Oprah, you need to get up and leave. And she turned to her and she goes, what? She goes, I don't want this in my home. I don't want this in my home. And she asked Oprah Winfrey to leave. And wow. Oprah said she was very humbled and she was very taken aback. This was her friend. She thought she could go there and just vent, but her friend did not want that kind of feeling in the home. And it taught Oprah to really, take notice of the things she was saying and what she was really communicating out there. And if it was a good thing for people, if it was life-giving, or if it was really words of destruction. So, God bless Maya Angelou for taking that stance. I think we should all, it would be a better place if we all took that, kind of position with our homes. Don't you think, Jer?
Yeah. Politely ask people to leave.
Could you get up and leave that nice Italian dinner behind because it's staying here? You cracked me up. Okay.
833-288-3986. Still have an open phone line, too, if you'd like to get in on this conversation about turning tension into peace in the home and our relationships. 833-288-3986. Margaret is in Troy, Michigan, listening on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Margaret. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I'm calling in regard to a marriage encounter technique that we use. were at home with 4 children, and friends of ours encouraged us to go on this marriage encounter. And at the marriage encounter, we were encouraged, when we had a difficult situation in the family, we were encouraged to write letters back and forth to one another. So we ran into this a short time later. We had been outside in Ace Hardware in Clawson, Michigan, and they had a flatbed trailer out there. And on that flatbed trailer, there were several different items, and one of them we were interested in. So I asked our young daughter, "Do you want to take a chance on what is, in this drawing?" And she said, "Oh yes, Mom, let's do." Well, our name was chosen as a winner, and we won a lightweight motor scooter. And I was very concerned about this. We had a 15-year-old son at that time, and I came home and I wrote my husband a letter like we had learned to do in marriage encounter. And in that letter, I wrote him, "Nick," he was so excited. He was a teacher at Ferndale High School, and he was so excited. "Oh, I won't need a car. I can drive that bike back and forth to school." And I sat down and I wrote him a letter. I said, "Nick," I said, "we have 4 children at home. I do not have a college education." I said, "you have a son who's 15 years old. He'll be everywhere. No life insurance." So I sat down and wrote him a letter, and he went to the bedroom and read it, and right away he recognized it as a technique we had learned in marriage encounter. He came back and he said, "We'll sell it back to the dealer." We went to the dealer and sold it back to him, and I think we received a couple $100. And we asked this young daughter, what would you rather have? She says, "Oh, a dog, Mom, a dog." So that's how we happened to get our dog.
Wow.
The marriage encounter worked. It worked. It worked.
I love it. So the technique is, I just want to make sure I understand it correctly, and our listeners as well, Margaret. So when we have these kind of situations that we're not fully in agreement with, right, we put our emotions aside, and then we kind of work it out in a nice, polite letter of our feelings, and just present it that way, so people have time to digest it.
We pay that person a compliment first, so that it softens their heart. Then we go into the difficult situation we're dealing with and find the other way where we write letters back and forth to one another. And that compliment, of course, is in that letter, first thing in that letter. And then the problem that we are having, and go from there.
Solution. Yeah. I love it. That is wonderful. Well, and what I love about it is that, the demons, I've talked about this before. The demons like to get us in reactionary mode. Okay. Because when we react, 9 times out of 10, it's not really a good way to respond to things. Right. So they love the fact that we quick response, we just snap right away and we just, say something or do something. But this takes time. This takes discernment. This takes a real conscious effort to communicate well and effectively. And like you said, pay the compliment and then discuss the difficulty, and then, maybe provide some solutions, and then probably finish with an "I love you" or thanks for reading my letter, which is always good. So affirming statements. I love it, Margaret. I think it sounds like a winner.
We never argue in front of the children. We go off to a separate space, a quiet space, and have a discussion.
Yeah.
And try to come up with a solution.
Yep. See, that's really good.
Yeah.
I will tell you, as a child who saw my parents argue in front of us all the time, I would have liked if they had not. I would have preferred them not doing that. It didn't help. It didn't serve me well. I don't know how it did with my other 5 brothers and sisters, but I don't like seeing arguments.
No, I completely can relate to that. I have a lot of, I've always said I have a lot of my dad in me. And what I mean by that is he had a very sarcastic kind of a biting wit and humor. And I sometimes find myself just thinking some of the things that he used to say. I don't say them, but these thoughts, the way he used to act, the things he used to say to my mother come back to me sometimes. So I think that's so important, Margaret. Get away, get outside of the immediate, where the kids are, and resolve things that way. And I also loved, what you said about, the letter writing. Debbie will vouch for this. I don't like confrontation. Debbie tells me all the time, Jerry, you don't like confrontation, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't know why. It's not as easy for me to come face to face with somebody where there's some real tension and a real issue that needs to be resolved. I communicate. I mean, I talk for a living, but I think I communicate even better on paper. And so that would be if I had a situation like that, Margaret, I would take that same approach as well. It takes thought. You can put your heart into it. And like you said, you lead with that compliment, and pretty soon you have diffused what could be a very, very difficult situation. So, Margaret, you have taught us all a lot today. Is there anything else you want to add?
God bless you. Love your program. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Bye-bye.
you. God bless you, too.
Thank you, Margaret. We love you. Thank
See
you.
how we learn? We learn every day.
I grow every single time I listen and do the show. Every time. Sometimes I go back. Do you ever go back and listen to shows and then you pick up more and more information? It's so great.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get done with a show and you say, I think I heard somebody say such and such. And that was really awesome. So, you go back. All of the shows, folks, by the way, are archived at take2show.com. If you ever miss a show or you hear something or you partially hear something, keep that in mind. You can always go back and listen to the whole show or parts of a show.
That's right. I just wanted to make sure our listeners know that there's every morning, 8 Eastern Time on EWTN Radio, Holy Mass from Our Lady of the Angels Chapel. The reason why I wanted to emphasize this is to listen to the Mass or watch the Mass on TV on EWTN television. The holy sacrifice of the Mass at Our Lady of the Angels Chapel is so beautiful. That's the Mass I listen to when I can't make it to Mass, daily Mass. It's amazing. So please know that EWTN has you covered, so you can listen to Mass every morning, 8 Eastern Time. It's just incredible. Talk about learning something. The homilies are fantastic. And today's celebrant was Father Joseph.
Beautiful. All right, well, we got several more calls we're going to try to get to here, talking about tension in the home versus peace and tranquility and harmony in the home and how to maintain the latter. 833-288-3986. Let's go to Ruben in Dallas, watching the video stream on YouTube. Hi, Ruben. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. How are y'all doing?
Doing well now. Thanks for calling.
Hi,
yes,
Ruben.
Sir. Hi, Debbie. I'm a long-time listener, and I thank God for allowing me to make this call. Jerry, thank you for encouraging me to call, mentioning how to not have tension in the homes. And I've been really close to God. I'm 37 years old, never been married, and I've always remained faithful to the Lord through the ups and downs. With that being said, I met this special lady, and we started dating, and there's a lot of excitement. And then what I love about this relationship is that we're taking things slow. We've gone to Mass together. We've gone to confession together. And I've even been praying the rosary in the mornings as soon as I wake up, going to Mass in the mornings. I prayed a rosary before I took a nap earlier today. I woke up listening to your show, and that's what encouraged me to call, to just share the love and joy that the Lord has blessed us with, and just hearing how to keep the tension, how to keep the foundation of the home. And that's one thing that I've always asked the Lord. Bless me with a wife that believes in you, Lord, and that loves you, and that our home is built on a rock, not on sand. I like that part in the Bible, and then asking for our future children to be committed to the Lord as well. I want to be the best version of myself, and that's when I think about a family is doing it all for the Lord. It's all going to be for His glory, and I'm just a person here in the world, and I'm thankful to the Lord that He never let me go too far from Him. He never let me go too far into the world, because this world can eat us up alive. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. I didn't even, when I first got on the call, I didn't know if it was right for me to call or not, but the screen caller told me, no, yeah, it's a good ride, and he started giving me the reasons why it's a good reason I called today. And it's incredible for me to also get to talk to you guys, and I really love what y'all do. Before this, I was in, I'm talking about 2 years back, or a year and a half back, I was in depression, and listening to your show pulled me out. I promise you guys, y'all pulled me out. And even in the comments in YouTube, my name is Ruben Reyna, yeah, they would respond to my comments, praying for me. And that's you mentioned archives. Y'all can go back and track what I just said, and it's a beautiful thing. The Lord is for real, and that's pretty much it. I really love this show and love the Lord and love this moment.
Wow, Ruben. If we're coming up on 7 years of doing Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and if those 7 years have been worth this phone call, it's all been worth it. And there have been many others like this, thanks be to God. So thank you for sharing those kind words. We just try to be here for you, and your comments, show that it takes so many more than just me and Debbie. Matt Gabinski is the call screener par excellence. He really helps prepare you and the other callers, Ace McKay, Jeff Burson, all the others who are a part of the show. And you referenced a Bible passage that I immediately went to in my mind and in my heart, and that's in Matthew 7, around verse 24, where Jesus talks about those who build on the rock, their house will stand. Those who build on sand, their houses will be washed away. And Debbie, all the things that he said, he is building on that rock foundation right now. Yep. And that is what will make a relationship not only healthy and fruitful, but will set it up to last. It will set it up to last, and in the long run, I believe.
Absolutely. Keep that strong foundation, Ruben. Keep those expectations high. Set the bar high. Keep those standards high. Don't waver. You want good things in your home, then practice those good things like you're doing. I love your disposition. I love your heart and your spirit, and your kind words are just incredible. Thank you so much, and we love you back, Ruben.
Thank y'all so much. Growing up in a home where there was tension, pushes me, and not having a father, allowed me to go through what I went through. And that's what I meant about God holding on to my hand, not letting me stray away, because this world, being a young fella down here in Dallas, you can get caught up in a lot of things. And I would attend parish at Immaculate Conception in Grand Prairie, and then once I moved to Irving, I went to St. Luke's, and that's where I go now. And then the other nearby parishes have always welcomed me as well. I've made friends everywhere, and one way to look at this is just how we're surrounded by our brothers and sisters and angels and saints, and no, that's about it. And just I pray and hope that all of your listeners are if they're requesting prayers, that I'll be praying for them. I'm a part of. I pray on my own, but I keep the community of the Take Two show in my mind. And
beautiful.
This is incredible for me to be saying this out loud. And thank y'all for y'all's time. I ask for prayers for our relationship too, as well, please.
Absolutely. I put you in the book, Ruben.
For sure, Ruben. Thank you so much for the prayers coming our way as well, and the entire Take Two family as you lift it up every single day. Claire in New Hampshire had an acronym for us. You hear the music, Claire. We are just not going to get to that today. If you want to email it to us, we'd love to hear what it is. Take2@EWTN.com.
Thank you, Claire. If you can email us, we want to hear that acronym you have for us, or Matt Gabinski will pick up the phone and grab it, because we're curious. Tomorrow is about powerful Psalms, and we're going to be talking about Psalm 91 tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, please pray for us.
This is Bob Groppe, General Manager of Divine Mercy Radio.